Good morning, sunshines. What a night. Boy, I slept really good last night. I was so tired. I'll wait for more people to get in, but you know what? Somebody is messing with all of my videos, all my sunshine videos, and it's just kind of pissing me off. But that's okay. I'm going to deal with it. Good morning, Antics. Good morning, Style. I did. I slept well. I see Power Lies did a video this morning. Yeah, somebody's messing with all my videos, and I kind of wanted to talk about something this morning. Hey, Cricket, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. To the person who sent me over 100 emails last night, I haven't read them. One, and two, I love you dearly. But uh, that ain't happening. Good morning, Scientology up north. Good morning, Miriam. It reminded me of, okay, yesterday I was watching the outcome of Scotty's trial, his hearing, his RO thing, and how right before the RO he was going there and he got all persnickety and bent out of shape because uh, Tiny had given him 3 great big chunks of documents and paperworks and stuff that wasn't even in the thing. It's just busy work. It's a head game. That's what all those emails are, you guys. I probably won't even read them. So if it was something very important, you need to figure it out and send me 1 email or 2 emails. Because my delete button is going to be used quite often this morning. Not much, just got a bunch of emails last night. It's like somebody's trying to insert all this pertinent information in, which, looking at the titles of them, it's probably not. It's just somebody trying to mess up data and trying to get into somebody's mind, like doing the busy work. I know better. This isn't my first rodeo. Too funny. I'm not even upset about it. I thought it was funnier than shit, really. It's just funny that Miriam, it's like they don't see that we see. Yeah, this one caught my attention this morning, Power Lies. How the e-meter creates a culture of punishment and control. Right? Forwarded emails. Not even solid emails. They're all forwarded. That's just not gonna happen. Yeah, other than that, I do think I have a touch of this stuff going around, but I am keeping myself free of any negativity so nothing sticks. Got the sniffles, but that's okay. Yeah, I do. Lucky me. Yep, I'm smart enough not to open the links, thanks, Style. Yep, told you that it's my delete button. We'll get a workout this morning. And actually, I don't even have to do that. I can just do Control Alt, Shift Alt, Shift whatever, Shift Alt, and it'll catch them all up and throw them all away. Ooh, you're gonna go out today? All right, Miriam. About what time do you think? Not to, give out your secrets or anything, but I'll watch. I will be on your live. Thank you, Cricket. Yep, I know. I can't wait. Okay, cool. Good, that'll give me time to fluff and buff. And good morning to you, Style. How are you doing today? Ooh, Cricket's on top of links this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Miriam, if you ever need an extra mod, let me know. I'd be more than happy to mod for you. I don't always catch your lives, but if I do, I'd be more than happy to help. Should we watch this? How long is this one? It's only 2 minutes. Let's watch, you guys.
Scientists have studied how small electric currents change the way people think and feel. In 2013, Dr. Christian Ruff from the University of Zurich found that applying a mild electric current to the prefrontal cortex made people less empathetic and more selfish. Dr. Adrian Raine from the University of Pennsylvania, 1997 to 2018, discovered that low-frequency stimulation of the amygdala reduced fear and guilt, making it harder for people to recognize distress in others. Dr. Antonio Damasio from the University of Iowa, 1990s-2000s, found that disrupting the ventromedial prefrontal cortex made people lose emotional connections to moral decisions, leading them to make cold, calculated choices. Now, let's look at the e-meter used in Scientology auditing. It operates at electrical levels within the same range as those used in these studies. If scientists saw people losing empathy, fear, and moral concern at those levels, what happens when someone uses an e-meter over and over? Auditing sessions last for hours, sometimes every day for years. It's possible this repeated exposure gradually weakens emotional responses and makes people more detached, without them even realizing it. This could explain why many longtime Scientologists seem unemotional or robotic. But in the Sea Org, where members are subjected to constant security checks and interrogations rather than regular auditing, the effect could be even worse. These security checks, done with the e-meter, are designed to break people down and force confessions. When someone is put on a punitive program, they're interrogated for 5 or more hours a day, digging for so-called crimes. Over time, this process might not just numb emotions, but create a cycle of psychological damage, where members become more like the people interrogating them, cold, detached, and willing to punish others in the same way. Scientology calls this putting in another person's ethics, but in reality, it may just be a system that turns people into enforcers, stripping away their natural empathy, a kind of psychopath factory that keeps feeding itself. Whether this was intentional from the beginning or an unforeseen consequence, the result is the same: a culture where punishment and control become the norm.
Ooh, another hit out of the park. Power Lies. Good morning, Eyes to See. And good morning, Joe Bananas. Thank you, Miriam. I would like that. I would take on that responsibility, ma'am. Yep, it creates those Xenu eyes. That Xenu stare. Yep, both being able to read it and hear it helps. Power Lies has been doing great work. I know I've talked with Power Lies, and it would be cool if those that do have e-meters could, I don't really know what he wants, but if they have e-meters, if you have an e-meter, let me know. And let's start doing some random studies. Good morning, Mersey Dotes. I know, I am not, I was addicted to nicotine, to cigarettes for many, 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 many years. The coma kind of helped me get out of it. And I had such a hard time with cigarettes, with such an addiction, that I knew never to try anything else, besides the fact my dad was in the military. So I never really did anything else anyways. I mean, I smoked pot when I was a kid, but, other than that, nothing. But I can see that my mind would have been very subjective to this type of. I think it could, but I think your brain rewires, and it might rewire in a different way than what it should have when it was little, or when it was forming, doing all of this. Kind of makes you go, huh. And good morning, Mertzy Dotes. Yeah. Eyes to See's been popping out some great videos too. Thank you, Eyes to See. Absolutely great information. That's what I am in the midst of doing right now, is trying to coordinate information between the e-meter and children. And I really appreciate the information that you guys have sent me about like the tens and the truth thingy, the lie detector, the polygraph test. But I guess the polygraph test is more of a it's not really the same. But stuff like this, information like this, certainly does give a reason behind, kind of gives a little bit of reasoning behind what's happening with the ex Scientos. in their reactions and their emotions. Let's use Nora for an example. It's almost like she's having to relearn her whole emotional structure as an adult versus a child. Isn't that kind of, it's so obvious. It's like she's having to relearn having to learn. That's excellent, Mary Z. Dotes. I know, I had a TBI. I may have style. Good morning, Adrian. Good afternoon. Maybe could you resend it to me, style? I would love that. If you do, I'll pop it on the screen. Yeah, I had to learn to rethink in my brain quite a few things. One of it is short-term memory. I have to learn to put things in different pockets, in different file cabinets in my brain. For as crazy as that sounds, I have to physically tell myself to remember things. Thanks, Style. To where most people do that just automatically, it's an automatic thing in their brain. I have to think about it. And normally, if I don't tell myself to remember something or that it's important to file it away, it's gone. I'll have to rethink about it. Good morning, Erie Forever. And I've had to relearn to do things in a different way, process information in a different way. So I completely understand Mersey Dotes. And some stuff you do just subconsciously without even knowing that you're doing it, your brain rewires. Yeah, I missed the stream last night. I'll have to go back and watch it. It was a little late for me when she started her stream, but I'm glad that she's in school also. Yep, there's another brain. She's just going to have to learn to learn. Well, yeah, we watched it, Power Lies. That was a great, great video. That was the first thing that popped into my stream this morning when I saw it, when I opened it up. You know, we have, and I'm not a doctor and I'm not a nurse, and so I don't know the technical. Power Lies probably knows way more than I do. But you're losing brain cells every day. I mean, that's just part of life, is to have your brain cells die, have things regenerate. That's part of getting old. Part of people with Alzheimer's and dementia. That happens. But in a normal body, your body creates new neurons and new ways of doing things in your brain, the synapses and the neurons. And if you have something like the e-meter frying those brain cells and they can't regenerate, that's going to make a big difference in somebody's brain. That's almost like having early onset dementia, early onset Alzheimer's. There's a comparison, Power Lies. Never really thought about that till just now. You know, when my mom was alive and she had Alzheimer's, ooh, okay. Epiphany, brain, ta-da! Okay, so my mom, it used to drive me absolutely crazy. That's right, antics. Was she couldn't remember what she had for breakfast or what happened yesterday, but her brain could remember a false memory. Clearly, vividly, without a doubt, she would say, "No, your dad and I went and we carved our names into the tree at this location." I mean, almost to the penny of a memory, right? And I'm like, "Mom, you've never been there. You've never been to my daughter's house. You, she wasn't even married or had babies or nothing before she bought that house. How could you remember carving?" And I'm just giving you one example. She would do this all the time. She would vividly, concretely remember false memories. It was like her brain was inserting false memories. That that may be. Hmm. She was 52 at the time of her passing. Yeah, early onset is way worse than normal dementia. I mean, it's all bad, but early onset is quicker, more powerful, more destructive than if you get it when you're older. Wow, guys, I'm maybe my mom having Alzheimer's because she's the only one that's ever had Alzheimer's. Yeah, it could be. It could be she was remembering the carving. And I think it's because her memories were wiped from the Alzheimer's that her brain was creating new memories. That's just my theory. But what about ex-Sciento kids or people that have been in Scientology for 50 years and they've had all this e-meter stuff and their brains have been zapped from the e-meter? What are, what memories are they creating? Good morning, Amy. Yeah, Meritzy, we won't talk about the times when we would be driving somewhere and she would scream, "Stop! We left the children." I'd be like, "What do you mean, Mom? What children? We don't have kids." "We forgot the children at the gas station." Just, she would, yeah. Fake memories, false memories, inappropriate memories. Hmm, just a thought. It is. Oh, it does. It runs in your family. If if I get older and I start losing my memory like that, put me on an iceberg and float me away. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Put me in a nursing home and come give me hugs and kisses. I absolutely, it was an honor to take care of my mama as long as I could. But oh my gosh. Yeah, the niacin, of course, a lot of people probably only do the niacin once or twice. The lack of proper medical care. Harvard Med has the actual fuzzy black and white research. Kinesiology, motor protein animation. Oh, you're gonna make me think this morning, Style. Don't erase it. I'll go look. Hey, me and Taz, good morning. Yeah, it's Alzheimer's, dementia, uh, stroke-related dementia, which is the small strokes. That's that's a tough situation. I remember the day I ended up taking my mom to the hospital, and then she ended up going into a nursing facility, into a memory care unit, is she fell in her bedroom, and phew, thank God I had beautiful dogs. Hey, Hank, good morning. Multi-infarct, yep. So my mom fell, and the dog, my Penny, my dog, came in, and she was howling and whining, and I'm like, what in the hell are you howling and whining about? And I got up out of bed and I went in there, and my mom was laying on the ground. She was awake, but she couldn't get up. I'm like, Mom, just stand up. And she couldn't remember how to stand up. Physically and mentally, she couldn't remember how to get up. And she didn't break anything. I thought, well, maybe she broke a hip or cracked a hip or something. She didn't. But she couldn't remember how to get up. And of course, I can't pick her up. So I had to call EMS. Okay, Kennison's motor proteins. Let me copy that. Let me go back into us. Let me go into here. Kinesins are motor proteins that move cargo along microtubules within cells. They are essential for many cellular functions, including cell division, transporting organelles, and building tissues. Let me see if wow, you're really, 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 really going to make me think this morning. My privacy, my choice. We'll accept cookies. Okay, I'm not too sure if I'm gonna play that. Yeah, right. Okay, I'll see the corrected. Let me get so yeah, Hank, it is. It's really I did. I looked at the corrected. Yeah, it's amazing how quick the change can happen. And then I would go over and visit my mom every day and became her daughter again rather than her caregiver. And that was actually a godsend, even though I felt really guilty for her to be in a home, but she was getting the care, she was getting the security, she was getting the love that she really needed. And I could become the daughter again and go over and just love on her every day. But it was really, really sad to see her. Uh, what we were talking about was those fake memories. Even my mom did too. And it was heartbreaking. The first couple of times it happened, she would say, one time she said it was my son that stole from her. And I'm like, no, Mom, Josh would never, never, never steal from you. That would never happen. But then that was like denying her memory and denying. So it was really hard. But yeah, there's some common things that dementia and Alzheimer's people do. They hide things and then say somebody stole them. But those fake memories are tough to deal with. And how does the brain do that? It is just wild. It's like replacement theology. We're getting way technical, you guys. But that's just an avenue I didn't really think of before power lies. That's a very similar, that's similar. And maybe, like, say, the ex-Scientology people, kids that grew up in Scientology that had their brain function messed with, it, living in her story, yes, I did. That's what I ended up having to do, living in her story. Um, but maybe that they're young enough that there's regenerative power in the brain. Let's continue. Good morning, Irish. Um, let's continue using Nora because we were using Nora as an example. That her brain's still young enough to have regenerative power to where all of this is with therapy and with the shots, everything is working to regenerate. Hmm. Tagged a new theory. Yeah, eyes to see. It's amazing. Yeah, really, Adrian. So much about the brain that specialists are still finding out about now, and a lot still unknown. Yes, it is. It does, Joe. Music does help stimulate. Yep, we would play music for my mom, and that would help her a lot. Yeah, Hank, it is. I'm gonna get to your comment in just a second, Power Lies. But my mom was, she had her bachelor's in literature, and she could do a New York Times crossword puzzle in minutes. She could, she was the navigator of the family, and she could literally loved maps, loved traveling, could tell you anything about it. She was the thinker. We would we laughed because a perfect job for her would be to be on a think tank. She was the thinker. And and towards the end when she couldn't figure out how to turn her computer on or use a phone or what the car keys were for, that was really sad. It really was. A brisk walk and Tina Turner helps to restore your sanity. Yeah. Nora is definitely working on her brain cells. She's remapping her neurons, for a technical term of it. Do you wiggle your tush, Irish? Thank you, Style. I'll email that to myself and pop it up. There might be a little bit of truth to that, Irish. Irish says, Joe, at our age, I'd be afraid of dislodging something. Mertzi, she started having memory problems when she was about 64, so not very old. And she passed away when she was 71, 72. Boy, my 44, she died in, so no, it wasn't 66. 76, she was 76. So it was about an 8, 9 year struggle, which is typical. From the time that she was first, originally, my dad called me and said, "Hey, mom's having some issues. She's having," she kept saying she had fat on her brain, that the doctor said she just had fat on her brain. And she was not remembering things the way they should be. Um, Very intermittent, inconsistent. And then that was in 2012. And by 2016, we definitely knew there was something. So in 4 years, and then she came to live with me, and in 2016, and then she passed away in 2020. So about an 8 year time frame. So relatively, it was quick. Um, when you're dealing with it, it seemed like forever, but it's amazing how quick. So in 2020, she would have been 76. Yeah. I thought she was a little bit younger, but no. And obviously, I'm up there in age too, so 76 really isn't that old anymore. Used to be when I was little, I used to think, oh my gosh, 76 is ancient. It was. But you know what, Mairzy Notes, she was over at the nursing facility, and they were all getting ready to have to get the shots, and I know she didn't want the shot, and she passed away before the shots were mandatory. So the bitch of it was that they shut down the nursing facilities in 2020 from March to when she passed away on Christmas Day. And so except for FaceTime and Zoom, I hadn't got to see her in person or give her a hug all year until they called me a couple of days before she was getting ready to pass away and said, you need to come over. So they allowed me, hospice wise, to come over and be with her the last couple of days. Well, welcome to 77. And yeah, I know I feel like a kid in my mind too. So that was the biggest bitch of that, was not being able to go be with my mom every day for that year. That lockdown was ridiculous for older people. I know in somebody's minds they were saying, "Oh, well, it'll help save them because the virus won't be coming in." But if you're on deathbed anyways, what's worse? Having somebody possibly bring a virus that may or may not kill you in, or not getting to see your loved ones every day, you know? It was sad. It was a tough time. I think my mom, well, I don't know, as I said, I like on the Christmas Day one, not to be grotesque or anything, but I think she was ready to go anyways. And it was a Christmas present. Yeah, none of it made sense. But I'm glad I got to see her. But those those memories, it is amazing. Kind of getting back to our subject, it is amazing what the brain is capable of doing. Then it kind of makes you question my own memories. Woohoo! Coffee's almost ready. Yeah, I know, Joe Bananas. It was just crazy, crazy times. You know, I think people did the best that they could with the information they had. And I'm not giving that to the government, but what I'm saying is people, the caregivers, the hospital staff, them, they were doing with what they had to deal with. So, I, the nursing facility, the memory care unit where my mom was at, was, it's an old building and probably could use a great big redo on the whole dang building. But the people inside that building made it so loving and so caring. It was a fabulous, fabulous place. And I know you don't hear that a lot about nursing facilities and memory care facilities because you hear all the bad things, but man, these people were so good. So good to my mom. Yeah, me too, Irish. And yeah, none of us alive really, except for those that lived through the pandemic back in 2008 or 1998 or 1908, whenever it was, that last pandemic. And hopefully we all learned. Oh, let me look, Style. Let me look. Let me copy. I'll send it to myself. Yeah, still just, I have 144 emails sitting there. Kids suffered a lot. Yes, they did. You know, politically, I don't really like to have that discussion, but physically, I know people that really were harmed by those shots. I have a relative that passed away right after the shot, and I know I have another relative that she'll probably never have children again. Yeah, it was a bad thing. That's what happened with our governor too. Jerky jerk that she was. Okay, I'm gonna take this off so I can go to my email and see. I gotta go through all these damn emails and erase them all. Okay, hold on. Stop. Stop. Go back. Okay, this is kind of gross. Okay, let's watch. Yeah, I know. Okay, let's watch this video, you guys. Let's see what this does. Oh, look at that. That's like disgusting. It's a kinesin motor walking on a microtubule. What the hell? That's kind of creepy. Look at that, you guys. Oh my gosh. That is cool, isn't it? Holy crap. Thanks, Style. That is let me, I'm gonna pause this because it's only a couple of seconds. It's just replaying. In your neurons, you have these little KIF1A motor proteins carrying important cargo along cellular highways that keep your nerves and brain functioning. We all have KIF1A protein, but for our friends with associated neurological disorder, this little molecular motor isn't working like it should. Maybe it's moving too slow or not picking up cargo. Maybe it's stuck on the road. That's kind of my problem. Or not getting on the road at all. This can cause life-changing and life-threatening symptoms like brain atrophy, seizures, blindness, and inability to walk. That's why we're working relentless with researchers to better understand how this little motor protein is broken in canned patients. So, but that's kind of a cool little video of, yeah, that's in the brain. That's like having worms in your head, little walking worms. Okay, Hank, thank you. Okay, not to get all wackadoodle, you guys, but okay, something like this. How can you deny that there is a superior being, a God? How can you deny that? Stuff like this doesn't just happen out of the blue. It would take way more faith to think there's nothing that created us than bipedal cells. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to. I know, right? Well, shoot, maybe mine are all paralyzed. That's why they don't work. Style, you gave me something. I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole today, looking at these darn neurons walking and figuring out what they do. Right. Adrian says it makes your brain hurt thinking about it. Yeah, that's way too much information. That's that's pretty dang cool though. Pretty cool. Hmm. Yeah, pretty wild. Let's go back to power lyses. That's an interesting discussion for a Saturday morning. Yeah, I agree with that, Sophia. Good morning, Sophia. Astrophysicist that said, I think that at the bottom of every glass of science there's God. You must have a few of those nerve aliens around my brain, and they are unsure what they are doing and causing me and my nerve issues. Amen, sister. Amen. I wish they'd all like go on a marching journey and just figure it out. Maybe we can tell them what to do. There's a thought. I like to be able to tell my little marching worms what to do in my brain. Absolutely amazing. But having saying all of that, it does kind of explain some of the Sophia, I agree. How one molecule of neurotransmitter reaches the synapses between the two neurons. Thank you for that explanation. I'm I'm you guys know that I believe that there is a God, and you know that I believe in um, angels and demons, and I believe in all of that. I don't believe anymore in an organized or a named. I just, and I guess maybe that isn't even really true, but it's the fact that one is better than another. I don't believe that. They did find the plane yesterday, Amy. All 10 people, 9 passengers, and the 1 pilot. They did find it up going from Unalakleet to Nome. And yeah, I saw that. Thank you, Peter, for sending that to me, besides the fact that I was watching it and watching it. They found it on the ice. Yeah, as I was saying yesterday, the planes up there it's normal because they don't have a road from place to place. I know about quarks. Now let's not look at quarks, but yep, that's just kind of cool watching that video. It was sad. Some of those planes, I remember I had to go out to Kodiak actually to look at an accessibility of a school and to do an assessment for the government on a school. And when I went to get in the plane, on most planes they put you on an aisle chair like in the big planes, and they roll you down into the plane because a regular wheelchair width doesn't fit in there, so they put you on an aisle chair. And a lot of planes in the bush or in Alaska in particular, they can't go to the terminal where you get up on the thing, and so they take you up and down the stairs. And in some planes, like this 9-seater, I could just slide right in like it was a car. That's how small those planes are, and so low to the ground. So some of those planes are quite small, but that's how you get around in Alaska. You only have 2 highways. Well, there's 3 highways, 1, 2, and 3, and they're all very short. When it comes to like more than 2 lane. The one in Anchorage is only a couple of miles long, like 2, 3 miles. And the one going out of Alaska, it's probably 4 lane for about 7 miles, 10 miles. And then it goes back to 2 lane. So other than that, it is plane or boat to go anywhere, or dog sled in the winter, snow machine in the winter. They'll snow machine between villages. I do not. I am living in the Midwest. I came down here to take care of my mom and dad, so I retired when my mom got sick and came down to take care of them, and have been down here since. I still have a house up there. I still have um, work up there that I deal with, but I live down here, and it's actually kind of nicer not having to deal with the snow and the length of time to go anywhere. Yep. I remember seeing your email, Eyes to See. We're not very far apart. Styles not very far from me. And on the other side, Amy's not that far on that side of me. Amy and Minnie in Cricket. Kind of in the middle of all of you. In Haggis. As the crow fly, Haggis is probably is closer than anybody. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying my spring down here. We didn't have spring until at least end of April, beginning of May up there. In here, you have at least spring in when it's supposed to be spring. I like that. I like having my trees turn green and the leaves pop out mid-March. Adrian says, I always remember the guy who got to fly an airplane and specifically wanted to fly a plane, and he passed sadly in it. It was so sad, but he also got to do something that he wanted to do. Yeah, that's right. Every day is a gift. Every day is a gift. Do what you need to do. And if you don't do something because you're afraid or there's fear or apprehension, then there's a regret. I do like having 4 seasons. Up there in Alaska, it was like there was winter, summer, and construction. And not even that most of the time. It was winter and construction. Yep, tomorrow's not promised, that's for sure, Adrian. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I had and have many friends that fly because, as I said, that's the way you get around in Alaska. So a lot of people have their pilot's license, and that's how you do it. Yeah, that is one way to know if you like something is by trying it. And sometimes you just got to do what you got to do because nobody else is going to do it unless you do. So there's that. Whether you like it or not, you still got to get up and make the donuts sometimes. Sometimes you just got to be your own hero, your own salvager. Tom Cruise, um, John Travolta, because he has his own flights. He has a Grape Gold plane. Yep, you gotta have somebody get up and milk the cows or nobody gets milk. robots can only do so much. Oh, oh, that's my buddy. Hi, Grizzy boy. You're right, Cricket. It does. And it helps you give you the opportunity to explore your experience and understanding, right? When it's not made, okay, I'm the most stubborn, obstinate person you've probably ever met in your life. If somebody tells me to do something, it ain't getting done. That's not happening. Good morning, Lakshmi Cool. Love you too. That's okay. You're never late. I am a stubborn ass mule. But if you ask me or suggest we do it together, I'm right there. I am right there beside you. Well, not unless it's something that's that adrenaline rush when you have a true accident. Woo! Have any of you ever parachuted? I have not. I have not done that. And I used to be a roller coaster kind of a gal. Not anymore. And it's not the fear of it, it's just it's no fun to get beat up and beat around. Roller coasters hurt. Roller coasters hurt. Let me get my words right. My daughter did, and that's kind of cool that she did. And I probably would have if I was younger. And I have friends that jump, but they tandem jump. Of course, they can't, but they tandem jump. That's kind of, I'm like, you're really putting your life not only in the hands of the parachute, but the person that's putting on the parachute. No, thanks. Really, Sophia? Not poke a snake with a stick. Right? That's just like tempting fate, right? Tuck and roll, baby, tuck and roll. Amy says she'd destroy her knees landing. Yeah. Yeah, it it probably, if I would have had the opportunity when I was younger, maybe I probably would have done it just for the thrill of it, but yeah. Again, why tempt fate? Yeah, and I'm not into snakes either. My my son loves snakes. He doesn't have a problem with that at all. I'm I'm not into snakes. True, but you still have a time. I guess, yeah, if you're gonna die anyways, if you're terminal. I had my son was gone Can't remember where he was at. Really, Style. We need to listen to some of your stories. In a British MG Midget, I used to own one of those, on a military runway heading straight for a Phantom fighter jet, about to take off and screaming down the runway. Style has many stories. We need to have story time with Style. Yeah, I could do zip lining. I still today would love to do zip lining. That wouldn't bother me a bit. Zip lining through a canopy, that would be fun. A little more controlled. Yeah, I would do zip lining. Joe Bananas, that's okay, thank you. I'll read it. Thank you so much, Joe. My feet are never on solid ground, Irish. I am always in flux of possibly popping out of my chair. For somebody with absolutely no balance, it's amazing I can balance my chair. There you go, Sophia. A calculated risk. Okay, Joe. Thank you. And much hearts back to you. Much, much hearts. You know what? Spring's going to come early. My dogs are starting to shed already like crazy. I think we're going to have an early spring. Yay! That would be so nice. So I'm not too sure if Streets was going to do a live tonight with Audit and I. I'll find out here after they wake up because it's only 7 o'clock their time. We'll figure it out. I don't know. But if so, I will see you guys tonight. And if not, I may go live later after Muriel. I say that lovingly. After her. And we'll see what's up. But I'm going to go get fluff and buffed. Oh, Irish, I'm sorry that bothered you. Glass elevators are kind of cool. But it's not if you're afraid of it. I know, I'm ready for Miriam's. I'm going to go, you guys. I love you. Thank you so much for conversation, for a very, very stimulating brain conversation this morning.